This is Mac OS Ken.
A nomination for this week's most important announcement. News around HomePod, believe it or not. And the EU is all in on USB-C. It is Thursday, the 9th of June, 2022. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from Mac OS Ken. Brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by Notion. One workspace for your whole team. Learn more and get started for free at notion.com/macOSKen. This show is also sponsored by Collide, endpoint security powered by people. The line between keeping an eye on employee security and looking over their shoulder is really slim. There's a better way to go with Collide. Collide sends employees important, timely, and relevant security recommendations for their Linux, Mac, and Windows devices right inside Slack. That's true whether they're using devices you've handed out or working in a bring-your-own-device environment. I love what Collide turns your workforce into. People who know what to do to make their devices and your workplace more secure. People who are learning about security as they go. People who are bought into your security needs. To me, this feels like the future of personal data security. But try it out and see for yourself. Visit collide.com/macOSKen to sign up today. That's KOLIDE, collide.com/macOSKen. Enter your email when prompted to receive your free Collide gift bundle after trial activation at KOLIDE, collide.com/macOSKen. Apple CEO Tim Cook says that Apple's moves in health will be the company's greatest contribution. He's spoken of augmented reality one day rivaling the smartphone in importance. While Apple Pay Later may not reach the lofty heights of those two categories, it feels like the argument could be made that that was the most important announcement at Monday's WWDC keynote. Because Apple is doing it themselves. Recapping what it is, a piece from Mac Rumors says with Apple Pay Later, Apple Pay users can choose to make 4 payments spread over a 6-week period instead of paying up front. The Apple Pay Later feature includes no interest or fees, so long as customers make the 4 payments within the allowed period. And there is no bank backing it up. Rather, the piece says Apple has launched a subsidiary, Apple Financing LLC, to handle credit checks and make decisions on loans for the service. Goldman Sachs, the bank that backs Apple Card, still has a part to play. The piece says the bank issues the MasterCard payment credential used to complete Apple Pay Later purchases, since Apple Financing can't because it's not a full-fledged financial institution. Yet. The piece cites a Bloomberg report from last March that had Apple working on a multi-year plan to bring its financial services in-house, cutting out the need for partners like Goldman Sachs. Now, Mac Rumors says Apple is working on payment processing technology and infrastructure such as lending risk management, fraud analysis, credit checks, and dispute handling. Plus, it is working on tools for calculating interest, rewards, approving transactions, reporting data to credit bureaus, increasing credit limits, and more. Even if Apple's goal is to become a full-fledged financial institution, it will take time. That said, the CEO stressed at this week's Time 100 summit that Apple thinks in terms of years, not quarters. Apple announced a lot of important stuff during the WWDC keynote. As a stepping stone for its business long-term, though, Apple Pay Later may have been the most important. An interesting statement from the Mac Observer. Based on new numbers from Strategy Analytics, TMO says HomePod Mini was the single best-selling smart speaker for the first quarter of this year. Worth noting, though, that does not mean that Apple was the top seller of smart speakers. Far from it. Running down the top 3 smart speaker sellers, Amazon was first with unit sales of 9.9 million, Google was second with unit sales of 6.1 million, and Apple was third with unit sales of 4.5 million, according to Strategy Analytics estimation. So how was HomePod Mini on top then? Because it is the only smart speaker Apple sells. The numbers for Google and Amazon combine all the different models that they sell to Apple's one and only. Another way that Apple and HomePod Mini stand out is in terms of growth. Doing the top 3 again, Amazon's smart speaker sales grew 1.5% year-on-year, Google's grew 6.6%, and Apple's grew a crazy 29.9%. Everybody else sank, according to Strategy Analytics, as did the segment as a whole. Overall, smart speaker sales were down 4.5%. Why? War. Well, that and COVID and supply constraints. According to Strategy Analytics, Russia's war against Ukraine, plus ongoing and intensifying shortage of semiconductors and other components, became crippling concerns for many vendors, especially the smart display heavy trio of Chinese companies Alibaba, Baidu, and Xiaomi, which also continued to deal with unprecedented resurgences of COVID-19 that shut down daily life for many in China. The firm thinks something of a reset is in order. Jack Narcoda, principal industry analyst, smart homes, smart speakers, and smart displays, says the firm notes 2 factors to watch. First, he says, in the U.S. market, smart speaker and smart display penetration rates are approaching a state of market saturation, and the market is shifting from new customer acquisition to add-on or replacement sales, which historically have longer sales cycles. Second, in China, slowing the surge in COVID-19 will take time, and compounded with ongoing component shortage, economic recovery will be hampered until at least mid-2023. Daunting as that segment may sound, Apple may have a new HomePod for add-on or replacement sales waiting in the wings. A piece from 9to5 Mac says code monkeys have found references to an unreleased and unannounced HomePod in this week's iOS 16 beta. According to the piece, the secret hideout HomePod is labeled internally as Audio Accessory 6, while HomePod Mini is Audio Accessory 5 and the original HomePod is Audio Accessory 1. Worth pointing out, as 9to5 Mac does, the dynamic duo of Gurman and Kuo have both talked about new HomePods on the horizon, while Bloomberg's Mark Gurman has said that Apple is playing with a few possibilities. TF International analyst Ming-Chi Kuo has said that a new HomePod is on the way to consumers, with the release date set for late this year or early next year. Officially official. After talk that it would happen eventually, a piece from Engadget says the European Union has reached a deal to make USB-C the single charger type for smartphones and most other electronics sold across the region. Billed as environmentally and user-friendly, the piece cites a report from Bloomberg that says EU citizens dispose of 12,000 tons of chargers each year, a lot of those having never been used. Nuts to that, says the European Union. In the statement, the European Parliament said, under the new rules, consumers will no longer need a different charging device and cable every time they purchase a new device and can use one single charger for all of their small and medium-sized portable electronic devices. Engadget says manufacturers have a little over 2 years to make that change. By autumn of 2024 in the Northern Hemisphere, the piece says makers of mobile phones, tablets, e-readers, earbuds, digital cameras, headphones and headsets, handheld video consoles, and portable speakers will have to be converted to USB-C. Laptops get an additional 1.5 years to make the switch, according to the report. Now, having Brexited, the UK doesn't have to do what the EU says, and in this case it will not. A piece from 9 to 5 Mac cites a BBC report saying the UK government is not currently considering following the EU's demands for a common charging cable. So what's Apple going to do? Well, previously the company has resisted connector rules like the one approved by the European Union. In a past statement to the BBC, Apple had said strict regulation mandating just one type of connector stifles innovation rather than encouraging it, which in turn will harm consumers in Europe and around the world. Of course, that's the kind of thing one says when one is trying to head off a rules change. With the change in place, seems likely that Apple will move more of its products to USB-C rather than making special kit for the European Union. In fact, noted Apple watchers Ming-Chi Kuo and Mark Gurman both said independently in May that they expect iPhone to make the switch to USB-C in the second half of 2023. And for those keeping score at home, that is this show's first mention of iPhone 15, vague though it may be. More news in a moment, but first a word from Notion, one workspace for your whole team. With hybrid work probably here to stay, the strongest teams are the ones who can keep it together without having to be together. Let Notion be the one hub where your whole team can share work and processes, manage projects, and collaborate with clarity. For companies of all sizes, Notion provides one central and customizable workplace that can be tailored to fit any team and bring all teams together to get more done and move faster. Yes, all sizes. Figma, Axios, Headspace, Duolingo, and so many more companies you know and use know and use Notion. And those companies make it easier for your company. Notion has a worldwide network of millions of users, creating templates, tutorials, and new inspiration. You're not only using the tools they're using, you can use them the way they do too. Learn more and get started for free at notion.com/macOSKen. That's notion.com/macOSKen to help you take the first step toward an organized, happier team today. NOTION. That's notion.com/macOSKen. Getting your Apple Studio display fixed just got easier, though not sure how you'd go about breaking it. To this point, problems with Apple's display would require replacing the whole blessed thing. Likely not an overnight fix, and supply is still tight on the device. Now, however, a piece from Mac Rumors says displays can be repaired rather than just replaced. According to the report, Apple stores and Apple Authorized service providers are now able to complete same-unit repairs for the Studio display instead of having to replace the entire display, according to an internal memo seen by the site. Authorized repair people can now order parts to complete Studio display repairs in-store. Seriously, though, try to be careful with your $1,600 monitor. The director of a big film for Apple TV Plus has taken the off-ramp. Deadline says Jason Bateman has pulled out of the Scarlett Johansson, Chris Evans film Artemis due to creative differences. Very little is known about this movie, except that it stars Scarlett Johansson and Chris Evans, and was supposed to have been directed by Bateman. Well, that and Apple said to have ponied up $100 million for the film. Bateman and producers are said to have parted amicably, but parted they have. No word yet on a replacement. And finally today, Apple TV Plus has put out a well-made trailer for a creepy-looking show. The Cupertino streamer issued a press release Wednesday announcing a start date for the 6-episode limited series, Blackbird. Quoting the release, inspired by actual events, when a high school football hero and dedicated policeman's son is sentenced to 10 years in a minimum security prison, he's given the choice of a lifetime. enter a maximum security prison for the criminally insane and befriend a suspected serial killer, or stay where he is and serve his full sentence with no possibility of parole. They want him to do that so he can get a confession from the killer before the killer can get out on a technicality, it seems. I watched the trailer and it looks really scary. Taron Egerton plays the high school hero gone bad. Paul Walter Hauser plays the suspected serial killer. Other cast members include Sepideh Moafi, Greg Kinnear, and Ray Liotta in what is likely to be his last television role. Liotta passed away last month. The first 2 episodes of Blackbird will hit Apple TV Plus on Friday, the 8th of July. Episodes will follow 1 per week for the next 4 weeks. Between now and then, you can catch the seriously creepy trailer on YouTube. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and sponsored by Collide, endpoint security powered by people. Learn more and try it for free at KOLIDE collide.com/macOSKen. This show is also sponsored by Notion, one workspace for your whole team. Learn more and get started for free at notion.com/macOSKen. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media, online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. Info at macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.